welcome everyone to Well That's Horrific, a podcast about anything and everything horror. I am your co-host, Mr. S. I don't know why I paused there. I was looking at you. I'm like I thought you were.
Is he trying to segue to me? I'm not entirely sure. And I'm Tom Cruise.
I blame you because last week again you threw me off because you ended it as well and you started.
Listen,
I
just like to fuck with you, man.
I am Mr. S. Tom Cruise is alongside me, and welcome. Thank you for being here. We appreciate listening to the podcast or watching it wherever you are. As you can tell by the title, we're going to be reviewing Infinity Pool. This is something that we had mentioned we were going to do, and we finally got to it. And I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about it. It's another Mia Goth film, as well as Alexander Skarsgård, and we know his brother from Pennywise playing Pennywise in It, and also the movie that we just saw right now. What was it again?
Starts with a B. Barbarian. He was in Barbarian.
There you go.
He was in Barbarian,
which was actually a really good movie. Yep. He was creepy in it, but it was a really good movie.
But let's not discredit Alexander, man. We know him from True Blood. We know him from Tarzan.
No. I don't want to discredit him at all. I think he's really is a good actor. I think he's dominant in this role. I think that there's a lot of things I have to talk to you about that kind of didn't sit well with me, but it's okay. Anyway, Infinity Pool opened up in January 27th. It was in theaters for 2 weeks. I remember seeing it on the app as well. I was going to go watch it. I didn't get a chance to. Opening, it made $2.5 million. All time, right now, as it stands, they have $5.3 million. $5.5 million they have domestically, which is great. I think those are good numbers, better than Winnie the Pooh.
I mean, is that even a fair comparison?
You say that, but it's actually pretty close. Like, they are pretty there, because Winnie the Pooh is over 4.3 now, so it's like, whoa.
Yeah, but that's anyway, like a troll job, man. That's like,
It is a troll job. Like I said before, it's the name grab, so it's like, whatever, I don't care about it. But Infinity Pool stars Alexander Skarsgård. I'm going to read you the synopsis here. James and M. Foster are enjoying an all-inclusive beach vacation in the fictional island of La Toca when a fatal accident exposes the resort's perverse subculture of heterocentric tourism, reckless violence, and surreal horrors. I'm going to give it to you. But fun fact, La Toca is not actually a real place. It does take place in Croatia, this movie, which is a beautiful country if you visited it. So I just wanted to point that out there because I was intrigued. I was like, is this a real place? And it's not. So take it away, Tom Cruise. Tell me what you think about Infinity Pool.
So Infinity Pool. I actually was the one that suggested watching this movie.
Yes.
A lot of people had spoken to me about this movie. And, of course, Mia Goth has become pretty famous in the last few years. We got some news about her later. But with that being said, we get introduced to James, who's the lead actor in this movie, or lead character in this movie, played by Alexander Skarsgård. He's there with his wife, M. We only know her as M, right? I don't know if it was M shorter for something else.
I just M, played by Cleopatra Coleman.
Correct. And then shortly after, 5-10 minutes into the movie, we get introduced to Mia Goth's character, Gabby, right? Yeah. And things get a little bit strange even from the jump, where like she invites them over to dinner, and I'm trying to see what's going on here. How did you feel about the first 20 minutes of this movie? I have to throw it back to you just because it gets very, very strange, specifically before the accident. I was trying to go. Yeah. I was trying to. If you've seen the trailer, you realize there's going to be an accident and there's some weird things that happen. But even before the actual, I guess, turning point, I don't know if you would call that the turning point, or more so the reveal of the movie. I would call it more so the reveal. Before the reveal, I was trying to see what foundation they were trying to lay, right? So this author, she says she's a fan. What's the motive here, right? Who is she? What is she after? Is she a groupie? Which heavily there's some things that might imply she was a groupie early on. What were your thoughts?
My thought initially was, okay, this has a sinister tone to it,
correct,
right? And one thing that I can appreciate is that throughout the whole movie, that tone kind of stays consistent.
100%.
And, you know, when I watched the trailer, I got that vibe as well. The thing about the trailer that I didn't like the trailer. I'll be honest with you. I didn't like the trailer. I was like, oh, it's one of these movies, like, just anything goes. They're just doing their own shit.
You know what movie it reminded me of? Do you remember The House That Jack Built?
Yes.
That's what it reminded me of.
Yes, it did. Do you know why, though? And I think it's because there's so many clips in the trailer that are put together that you're just really like, what? Like, how are these, you know, happening? And then you watch the movie and then you see how it comes together. And like, okay, cool. I don't mind it. Whatever. The beginning of the movie is great. I think, you know, it's a nice, you know, setting. I like the cameras like going like upside down, whole 360 degrees. And it's like, okay, it's very strange. Yeah, it's like strange. I got the tone from the very beginning, and they followed through with it. Not a problem. Mia Goth's character, when she's introduced, I don't know. Anytime I see Mia Goth, I think she's established herself as this type of character where you see her and you just know she's up to no good. Right?
100%. So that, I guess, that was my thought process. Is like immediately I see her and I'm thinking she's up to something, right?
Exactly.
And I'm thinking she's going to be the antagonist of the movie. What's going on? What's her motive? And I'm trying to, I guess, unpack all these things that aren't there yet to unpack, I guess.
Right. And, you know, they introduce us to James and M, which is fine. They introduce his story. You know, obviously he's a writer who has been, you know, on what you call it, a dry spell, per se. It's been a couple of years, and, you know, his wife is there to support, which is, honestly, his wife, M, like, she's richer than him, right? So she's kind of like carrying this dude, you know, she's paying for everything, even when her father told her not to be with someone like him and all that stuff. And, you know, usually, I'm not saying this is the case for everybody who's out there, but you have, you know, a spouse who's richer than you. They're usually the ones who are a little bit more, you know, cocky, and the ones who feel like they're needy. And like, if you mess up, like they can leave you, like you have to be like on edge all the time. But in this case, M is like very supportive of her husband. Like she believes in him. She she carries him. She like pays for everything. And it's like, okay, like I did not really expect that from her character, which makes me just hate Alexander's character more. Like it really, really, really pisses me off how his character's arc is just downhill for me. We'll talk about that a little bit more as we go on, obviously, but it's just I
think that like the kind of overall plot or theme of the movie is like pretty much anyone can turn evil, right? Because it was almost like that thing early on where it was like he didn't want to do any of this. It was kind of like they convinced him to do it, and then at the end, it's more so that conclusion that like he couldn't even go back.
Yes, fine. I'm okay with that. I think for me, what wasn't sitting well with me is the fact that he was so vulnerable throughout the whole film. I think he's had so many chances to redeem himself for the evil that he's, you know, done, and he doesn't take it. Like in every instance where he's involved in some type of scenario, he's always defeated, right?
100%.
Like
it happens over and over again.
From like over and over again. And it's not like he does like the evil deeds willingly. It's like I feel like he's like a child. Like he's like bullied into doing it, and he does it anyway.
Yeah,
you know?
it's almost like peer pressure, like, but it's also like not really peer pressure because he wanted to do it at the same time. I don't know.
Exactly.
I think the big thing for me, or I guess when I finally understood that point for me, was when you realize that he had the passport all along.
Exactly.
That's when I was like, that was huge. I mean, spoiler alert, we're already talking about the movie, but they find out in this resort or in this where are they again? Or where is it supposed to be?
La Tolca. It's in a made-up place. It's called La Tolca.
La Tolca. And what they do is whenever somebody commits a crime, they clone them, and they basically have that person killed or have that clone killed.
Which is an interesting, I think, concept. I don't think I've ever heard of a concept like this. Usually, like when horror movies like to be different, I usually
so here's the thing about this entire movie,
this wasn't
right?
Bad.
You also have to understand this movie is directed by who?
This movie is
Brandon Cronenberg.
Yeah.
Son of David Cronenberg, known for these weird like sexual horror weird movies. That's what he's known for. I mean, It's the guy that made The Fly, for God's sakes.
Right.
He's kind of known for this sort of twisted sort of movie, and it's not surprising that his son made something similar to something that he would have done.
Right.
So, I mean, with that being said, we go back into the movie. There's an accident that happens where he accidentally runs over somebody, and it ends up being a farmer, and they have his son is the first person to actually kill this quote unquote clone. And it's
like a law. It's a law that
Correct.
they have there, right? The investigator, the detective, comes to James while he's locked up in like wherever he's being held up, and informs him of this law that you killed someone, you killed a farmer. So now what they do here by law is the son of the person that you killed has to kill you.
Yes,
which is sick. It's twisted.
It is 100% sick. I think one of the things that threw me off is that, you know, they got off on doing this, right? That's basically what it's revealed, is that this group of people, they get off on doing this sort of thing, and they continuously, repeatedly just do it every single time.
Exactly.
They start just targeting people who made them do these things, and you know, it starts with, who's the first person that they say that they? I mean, before they get to the quote unquote guard, they kill somebody else, right? They kill like 2 or 3 people in the process.
Right, they do, and just real quick, I want to just touch on something. I don't mind that this is different. Like I said, I don't mind that it's different. It's just there's some things that work for some movies and some that don't. Like, I think for this movie it worked because it's a different concept. I never heard of this before. Like, essentially, like you mentioned, they do the crime, and so like again that law was that he has to be killed. So instead of actually killing him, they kind of clone him. They prep him up. He's naked. They put stuff around in his mouth. They drop him into literally like a blood pool, and he's knocked out. He wakes up. He finds out there's somebody that's like a clone of him, because they have to watch the execution take place. That's a must, apparently.
Yes, correct.
And when they do this the first time, Emma's like disgusted by it. She's disturbed by it. James kind of does like a little smirk, you know. He kind of hinting and foreshadowing that he's gonna possibly do this again, or, you know,
I mean, he enjoyed it.
Whatever the case may be. He enjoyed it. It's just, that's sick, man. That's sick. Like, that's a sick mind. Whoever wrote that is wild.
Now let's get a little bit behind the symbolism of the title there, right? Infinity pool, right? Infinity, as in doing, you know, infinite, right? Forever ongoing.
Amount of
And pool. You mentioned that even the sort of chamber that they're put in, the sort of thing that they come out of, it looks like a pool, right? And then the premise of infinity pool, considering to do the same thing over and over again, and the fact that, you know, they're basically being cloned.
Yes.
I just wanted to touch on that, but I think
that's a great touch up. That's a great touch up, because even Mia Goth's character Gabby is sitting down with James after the first incident, and is explaining how, because it's revealed that even Gabby has been through it with her husband.
Yeah, plot twist. Apparently, half the people in the resort, or a lot of people in the resort, have been through this.
Exactly. And then Gabby reveals why they were, you know, involved, and like it was her husband who was like constructing a quote unquote infinity pool, you know, one of the moments where it's like, oh, you said the title. And I thought that was kind of like a neat tie. But yes, I think you're right. The title itself it plays so much, you know, it plays so much of a role here, because that's exactly what's happening. These people obviously keep doing these crimes knowing they have the money to do it, you know, and not gonna lie, that second time they got me when it was like, no, like you've used it too much, you know, like when they all were involved the first time together. I'm not gonna lie, that caught me. I was
no, 100%. I thought it was gonna be something different, and it was just plot twist. We were looking from the clone's perspective, which was interesting.
Exactly,
very interesting way to play it out. Play out it. I thought, the movie was definitely very interesting. It definitely gave me one of those, you know, it definitely makes sense, and it's a Cronenberg movie for 100%. Just the vibe that it gives you, like you mentioned, that sort of sinister tone, and just everyone, even the actors were very creepy. The mask, we have to touch on these masks. The masks were supposed to be more so for the resort staff, or they were selling them in the gift shop. They were more so supposed to be
it was a cultural thing.
Yeah, it was a cultural thing.
Yeah. You know, I'm fine with the concept and all, and I'm all fine with, you know, James being a little bit, mysterious. Like, you don't really know which side he's on. Obviously, he's going against his wife, but like, which, by the way, he's like completely, betraying her trust and everything. Like, even with that whole scene, like, of him taking a piss by the tree and at the beach and whatever. And then
that was before anything.
Drugs. That was before anything. So, that's I think was like, the starting point for me when it comes to his character, that like the decline in his arc. I'm like, okay, like, terrible. And I think for me that I was really upset about Tommy. I don't know. It's just like there's no payoff for this movie.
Yeah, there really isn't a payoff in this movie. It gives you that sort of ending where like it's just the idea that he couldn't, he enjoyed it. He couldn't go back, and it's very anticlimactic. I will say that. I agree.
Very anticlimactic, and not just one scenario. Many scenarios. First of all, I don't understand the scene at the end where he beats his clone version of himself, like who's like a dog. Yeah. I didn't understand that. Second, I don't understand how him doing that puts him on good terms with Gabby and them. I'm like confused. I may be confused here. Third, I don't know why he's staying at the end. Right?
It's hard to go back to a regular like he couldn't get over it like they could. They were able to just move on, and he couldn't.
I think what would have been a better ending for me is if he stayed and then he was like in front of like a desk and then started writing his book, because they mentioned him being a
writer.
Author,
yeah,
and then nothing.
That was my I guess prediction as I was watching the movie, is like he's gonna get a book out of this at least. Like he's gonna do something, but nothing happens.
That's what I'm thinking the whole time. Like, this is what's gonna happen.
It's like nothing happens. He refuses. He can't go back to M, and he just stays there. He just can't get over it. But yeah, it does feel a bit anticlimactic because of that. There are a lot of loose ends.
Yeah,
they don't really mention anything about the book. I thought Mia Goth turning, like when she finally went full evil and was chasing him with the gun, I was like, okay, this is the Mia Goth that we know. This is what I expected.
Yeah.
By then, it felt very much. It felt very much what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and kudos to her. I think she did a great job as well. I think her character herself was very mysterious from the jump. You don't like. Does she really have a crush on him? Like, what's going on here? Even after the fact, like where he experiences the whole infinity pool, she's still up to no good, kind of bullying him into all this stuff. And then that whole scene where he's beating up the quote unquote the guard, and then it turns out to be his clone. I think that was really messed up too. But yeah, I mean,
there was a bit of a existential crisis there for him, and in general as you're watching the movie, is like, is he a clone? Because one of the things that I guess threw me, well, before he actually went and got the passport, is that he didn't have a passport, right? And he didn't, he beat up the guard that ended up being him, and now he's going through like some sort of existential crisis where he doesn't know what's going on.
Right.
They're saying that they tricked him, that they tricked the guy to make another clone. I was like, but do you believe them? I think for me personally, as I was watching that, I was like, he could possibly be a clone himself, and now he doesn't know what's going on. So it does make sense. And before he had a passport, I'm like, that the fact that he didn't have a passport was evidence to him potentially being a clone, because he could have thought he had a passport, he could have thought he was American, he could have thought all of this, but like if he was a clone, the real him could have left.
I think that's a great insight. I think that's a great theory that you probably just opened up right here. Like, anyone, if you watched Infinity Pool and you think he's a clone at the end, and when he's grabbing his passport or not, let us know. That's a great.
I think the fact that he
that's what the goal of the movie is.
Yeah,
like,
but I think
right?
I think at the end of the day, the fact that he has his passport kind of means that he was not a clone. But I think before he has the passport, there's a implication that he very well could have been a clone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It could be anything.
What did you think about the masks, though? Because we touched on the masks, but like they were creepy. They were creepy as masks.
Honestly, they remind me of the Black Phone for some reason, only because of its like structure and like angles. Like, it's very weird.
Yeah, it was like a Black Phone sort of thing, but I think I've seen some similar masks like in The Purge too. I don't know. It's very strange.
The Purge, yes, The Purge, Purge too. But no, I wasn't crazy about it. I just thought it added to the, you know, strangeness of this movie, you know. So I think it went well with that. So yeah, but not too crazy about the mask. Why you like them?
I thought they were good. I did like the mask, but there were so many different variations. So like, but I thought they were creepy. The first time I saw them, I knew they were gonna play into something. I didn't know what, and then obviously as you're watching the movie and you start seeing that they're the ones that are actually the people you see in the trailer. I was like, now things are starting to make a little bit more sense.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think that was their goal. I think they do a great job of foreshadowing things. They foreshadowed a lot of things in the first like 10, 15 minutes. And
yeah, I think where this movie starts to suffer is just in its confusion, right? Behind everything, and you trying to figure things out. And like you mentioned, the ending is not something that like would be satisfying in a sense of like, okay,
it wasn't satisfying. There's no payoff. Not really a lot of closure. They do this thing where they kind of make you guess, I guess, for the long run, like what it would be like next year, because they mentioned how they've been here like every year or something like that, and just like I can see the door open, for a possible sequel.
I wouldn't. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't either. But
I don't know. I don't know if this movie was like enough. Captivated me enough to warrant a sequel, or for it to even deserve a sequel. To be honest,
yeah, I mean,
it was a very I would call it strange, bizarre, mysterious movie. Really up to your interpretation in a lot of different things. But I think at the end of the day, it's not the easiest to follow.
It is not. It is not the easiest to follow, people. It is not the easiest to follow. You have to have one of those minds, programmed for these type of movies, and it's not easy to follow, but it's definitely doable. It's not like anything different.
Let me ask you a question. Not to compare movies, because I've been told that I love to compare movies. But with that,
as you should, though. I think that's
with that being said, right? Two completely different movies, right?
Right.
The House That Jack Built. It was a very artistic movie, is what I would call it. There was definitely a sort of art to this movie, especially if you consider the poster
in every
of the
aspect.
movie. Yeah. Now, how would you compare the two in sense of like, I guess, plot and ending?
I think the house that Jack built has more of a closure. In terms of the ending, 100%. Obviously with him in the wall and trying to climb it and kind of like dying, and like kind of the voiceover in that. The plot itself, I told you, The House That Jack Built is a disturbing movie, and I don't like those type of movies because it gives people ideas. But like I said, I wouldn't go and be like, oh, let's go watch this movie. I wouldn't do that. But for the movie that it is, the movie that they're trying to make, they did a good job of it.
I agree. I think that's the difference for me, is that not to say that they did a bad job here, but it's just again,
no, 1,000%. I even know what you're gonna say.
There's no payoff. There's not. It's at the end of it all, is like, was it worth it?
Yeah, I think that is a great question to ask. And like I mentioned just before, it's like I understood what they were trying to do. What kind of movie they were going for. Did they necessarily, complete, and succeed in that? I gotta say, no. Not that they failed miserably, but it's not like at the end I was just like, oh, oh. I'm like, okay, I get it, shit. But I think in that aspect though, The House That Jack Built is a better movie.
Yeah, I agree.
I hate to say it, man. It's crazy.
Do we want to get into ratings, or is there anything more in specific you want to unpack here?
No, I mean, I think that's pretty much it in terms of our ratings for the film. I'm gonna go ahead and say just a quick recap. Alexander Skarsgård did a great job. I really didn't like his character, though. I really, really didn't.
Yeah, they did a great job of making you hate his character.
Yeah, I really, really didn't. The movie did have some creepy moments. I think the moment that scared me the most was when that kid, like when he wakes up like at the farmhouse and that kid is like smiling at him and walking.
The best moment of the entire movie. I'm glad you mentioned it, because I completely forgot till you mentioned it.
Bro, I was scared. Like, that was crazy. And I don't know, like Mia Goth is like always exceptional in that type of role that she plays in. I did like the scenery in Croatia. I also did like how she mentioned in a resort like that, in a place like that, that's poor outside of the resort, anything goes. Like she literally said, like, these cops can rape you overnight, and it's true. Like, in a lot of places like that, that is the case. So I want to point that out there. I think it was accurate to a lot of things in terms of the politics behind it. Like the people who do have the money can kind of get away with a lot of things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I give it a 6 out of 10.
So I hate that you always get to put the number first, because I was gonna say 6 out of 10. So
Shit.
with that being said, I agree, 6 out of 10. I'm not gonna unpack it as much as he did, but Mia Goth did a great job. Director did a great job. I just wish it had a better conclusion. I wish there was a little bit more to it. That's pretty much it, to be honest. Alexander Skarsgård did do a great job too, but I do agree that his character's not very likable in this.
No. I'm glad we see eye to eye on that.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree. 6 out of 10. It was okay.
Yes.
I would say it was okay.
Nice. I respect your rating.
Yeah. Okay. With that being said, we've been gone for a couple weeks, Matt. We've been gone for a couple weeks.
Yes.
So I have only about like 50 tabs here that I want to address.
Let's do it. Speaking of Mia Goth.
Yes, speaking of Mia Goth, right? We have to mention it. We have to touch on it. I know this is technically Marvel, but she just signed on to be in Blade. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Whatever she decides to do, vampire, werewolf, whatever it may be, that's gonna be cool as fuck.
Yeah, I think that's a great role for her. Only because I want to see her out of this comfort zone of hers, and not necessarily this is her choice, but I don't want her just to be portrayed as one character. So let's see how it goes. Marvel's a huge, company, and a lot of people are like anticipating Blade and how it's going to be. Ever since they announced it, so I'm excited for her. I'm happy for her.
While we're on the topic of Blade, I just want to point out one little thing that I don't like about the movie. Right?
Oh my God, is it with the cast?
Yes, it is with the cast.
Okay.
What is it? What is there something that you don't like?
No, I don't know. I'm curious. Go ahead.
Okay. So, do you know how old Wesley Snipes was when he made Blade?
No, I don't.
So I'm Googling it right now real quick. Because I looked this up before.
He was 39,
He was 36 when he made Blade.
Okay. There you go.
When he made the first Blade.
Right.
And he's currently the new Blade is going to be played by Mahershala Ali, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how old he is currently?
No.
He is 49 years old.
Dang.
I just think, as much as I love what Marvel does, that they love to grab these big actors, and he had just won an Oscar when they announced that, or he had won an Oscar like maybe a year before they announced him as Blade or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he's a great actor. Don't get me wrong.
Yes,
but I just think, like, what's the thought process there when you're picking an actor that's so old? Is he gonna be is he gonna do a Blade sequel and a Blade 2 or Blade 3 when he's 49 making the first Blade?
Yeah, you make a great point. I know him from House of Cards. I was a big fan of House of Cards. Until that whole Kevin Spacey allegation thing. But I was big fan, and he did a great job in that role too. I don't know. I think he has a younger face. Like, I wouldn't give him 49. So when you told me his age, I had like a Kevin Hart moment. Damn.
No, but that's the thing is, I get it. He looks young. It's just like I'm just questioning. Like, he'll probably still look great for this first Blade movie. But I'm thinking, like, if you're thinking in the long run, right? If you're Marvel,
to bring him the characters together,
and you're thinking, okay, Blade 1, Blade 2, Blade 3, and he's 49 making the first one. You gotta kind of think about that.
Yeah, and also, why are you announcing it so early? And then at the end, like what? 4 years later, the film's coming out. But do you think they're gonna make 3 Blade films?
Well, I think when you start something like this, you gotta, I don't know, you gotta lay a foundation, because remember, this is gonna be like a completely different, what do you call it? Different world? World. Because Marvel's never had, or again, not as far as we're aware in the MCU, there's never been vampires and werewolves and stuff like that. And once you start doing that in the MCU, it's gonna open up the door for a lot of different questions. So, like, I don't know. I think so. I think you can't just do a Blade movie.
Yeah.
I think you do a Blade movie and you establish a world. So I don't know.
They hinted him at into Eternals, right? Was he in Eternals? Was
Yes,
uncredited or
they
something?
hinted
I forgot
at I think was it his voice at the end when
it was his voice.
when
It was his voice again.
I forgot his name, the guy Jon Snow, the actor who plays Jon Snow,
Yep.
Kid Harington, yep.
Keith Harington, yeah, the guy that used to compare me to when I had longer hair.
Yes. So when he went to grab the sword, he heard Blade's voice or something like that. Yeah. So they did hint at him, but yeah, you're right. They've also announced that movie a while ago, and it still hasn't come out yet.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I don't know. It's just one of those things. The only thing that concerns me about that movie is that, and again, I don't think that'll be an issue in the first movie. That'll just be a question of like what happens, 5 years down the line when they're making Blade 2.
But you see what I'm saying? The conversation that we had last time is like when people wait, like industries wait so long to make their film.
Yeah.
Like just do it. Like look how eager we are to see it, right? Fans are gonna want it, so just make it already. Do it. But yeah, again, that's Mia Goth. She's on Blade. Casted at Blade. I'm happy for her. I'm happy, to see this movie, coming out. Hopefully, it's great. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Insidious. Did you see this?
Yes, I did.
So they have an official title for the next movie. It's called Insidious: The Red Door.
Yes.
Did you read a little bit more on that?
Yes. So I know that. What was it? It's going to take place after the second film. It's going to be a direct sequel to that, right? Mm-hmm. Which is great. I didn't like the third one. Like I really. Didn't
I have to be honest. I have to go back and rewatch these because I don't remember them.
The first two were great. The first one is a lot better than the second one. Everybody loved the first one. Everybody was scared of the first one when it came out, and it had a great story to it. I'm happy that they're doing this. It's going to take place 10 years after the original. After the first one, I'm sorry. The second one. And the kid, he's going to go to, was it college? I think.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. He's going to college, and that's where he's going to have the demons, kind of attack him, haunt him, whatever the case may be, and they're going to try to, overcome that hurdle, which is great. I'm for it. Original cast is back, so that's going to be amazing. Yeah. It's going to be I'm excited for that. I love Insidious. I think Insidious is one of the most creepiest films out there.
We definitely have to do an episode where we recap all of these, and I will.
I'm down. I'm fed.
I will rewatch them because it has been some time. Here's what I have here, though. I have Josh Lambert heads east to drop off his son Dalton off at an idyllic ivy-covered university. However, Dalton's college dream becomes a nightmare when the repressed demon of his past suddenly returns to haunt them both.
Yes. Yep. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
What is it? Do you know when it's set to release? I don't know. I didn't catch that.
So yes, actually. July 7th, 2023. So actually, this is 3 months
year?
away. Yeah.
No way. Yeah. Wow.
They play no games.
Thank you.
They play no games.
Thank you. That's how you do it. You know that your first two movies were a great success. You know people loved it. You know it was creepy. Why wait? Why wait? It makes no sense for me to wait. I appreciate it. Good job. Is James Wan on this or no?
I don't see anything of him here.
Okay, so maybe not. Maybe somebody else is taking over.
Producer's credit, but I don't see it in this particular article that I see.
Amazing. Absolutely. That's great news. That is great news.
Yes. What else do I have here? The Boogeyman. I wanted to touch on this because I think we mentioned this trailer, or we spoke about this trailer a while ago. This movie actually opens up, I think, so when did I say July for Insidious? This is June. This is June of this year. This is the Boogeyman. This is based on a Stephen King adaptation. And if you're watching, damn it, what's the name of this TV show? I'm actually going to watch an episode after this.
Okay, interesting.
The TV show that we were just talking about the girls and
Yellow Jackets.
Yes, Yellow Jackets, correct. If you're watching the Yellow Jackets, the lead actress on this is the younger version of one of the girls.
No way.
I think you may have seen the trailer to the Boogeyman. I think we briefly spoke about this, but I'm excited for this. This is coming out June 2nd. And they've been hyping it up. They've been talking about it for some time now. So I think it has a lot of potential.
I feel like that's the perfect time. I feel like near summertime, throughout the end of the year, I feel like a lot of these horror things are coming out.
I think this summer there's actually going to be, like you mentioned, like there's this, and then there's going to be a month later there's going to be Insidious. I think this might be a good horror summer, which is interesting. Yeah.
Yes, sir. We will be here to cover it.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, for sure.
There is something I wanted to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I briefly mentioned it with you a little bit. A24 has bought the rights to a film called Talk to Me. Last week, they had tweeted that they were going to release the trailer, and it's one of the scariest trailers ever. I mean, ever. That's what they said. Awesome. So I saw the trailer. We're going to talk about the trailer a little bit. Just a little more context here. A24 went to a Sundance festival, and they saw the reactions that this movie has gotten. Apparently, it's only positive, like overwhelmingly positive, and apparently it's really, really scary. And they ended up buying it, which is cool because there's on TikTok you'll see like all the people who are part of the film, like hearing the news. Everybody's like crying and laughing and smiling, like they're like in complete awe of that A24 had decided to take it over. The trailer came out. I saw it. I liked the trailer. The concept was interesting. They kind of talk. Anyone can kind of talk to this like supernatural, entity or being of their choosing. I think of their choosing, and they kind of go like in a trance when they're doing it, but usually they end it off, and that's usually the end of it. But in this case, the looks like the protagonist in this film wants to talk to her mother, and she gets out of the trance, but it looks like the supernatural entities are still
since we were kind of just talking about the movie, and now that you're recapping it kind of sounds a lot like Insidious. But with that being said, I did watch the trailer actually right before we started recording this, because Mr. S suggested it, and I have to say I actually did like it. A couple things to take away in this movie. I like the hand, or I like the poster of it. It definitely feels like there's a lot to reveal in this movie, and they're teasing a lot in the trailer. And it's one of those things where, like, I think the trailer does a great job because you like I mentioned, there's gonna be a lot more that's left, and they're only showing you a little bit. It feels like they're showing you a lot, but I can tell that there's more to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I absolutely I absolutely love it. A24 has great films. We know this. X and.
But let me ask you a question: would this not be considered an indie movie, Mister? I don't like indie movies.
But what I say, it's a hit or miss. But most often, it's a what you call it, a miss. And I trust A24. They have great movies. I liked the trailer. I'm not saying I didn't like it. I thought the trailer was really good. I thought it was creepy. It does look scary. A lot of people said that it was a scary movie, which is great. But I don't think it's the scariest trailer ever. I don't think so.
I think they hyped that up if they said it was the scariest trailer ever. But
I don't even think that's top like 5. But whatever. That's just me.
Not in terms of
it looks good. It looks good. It looks good. It definitely looks good. So
I don't know if it's quote unquote indie, because I think it was funded. But either way, a lot of actors that we don't know of, and it still looks very good. So
yeah, fresh new faces, fresh new story. I mean, I don't know if it's a new story, but I'm always looking to support, this, and so let's see it. Let's see how it goes.
The only other thing that I have here is I actually have to see the sequel to this movie because I never saw the second movie, and this is a third movie in the franchise. Hell House LLC Origins. You ever see Hell House LLC?
No.
You should watch it. I think you would like it.
I will.
Highly recommend.
Okay.
So, for our listeners, those who have seen this movie, those people know. Trust me. So Hell House LLC, basically the story is, Mr. S, I'll briefly describe it to you. It's a haunted house, and they're setting up a haunted house to scare people. Lo and behold, stuff starts going down in the haunted house. And it's...
What movie did I see that was very similar? Haunt.
Oh, yes. But Haunt is like a carnival, no?
Yeah, but it's... Yeah.
No, this is like a group of people decide to rent out a house. Okay. Or buy a house just to for the summer, or just for Halloween, make a haunted house, and it's legit scary. And they made one, they made another, and now they're doing a prequel to everything. I never saw the
prequel.
I never saw the second one. Actually, there might have been a third.
What is this, like a VHS recorded? What is this?
Just trust me. Watch the first one and then get back to me.
Okay,
I never
fine.
saw the second one. I don't know if there's a third one, but I never saw the second one or the third. And then this is gonna be a prequel to, I believe, the first one. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm excited for this.
That's interesting.
I've only ever seen the very first one, and it is one of those movies that is pretty scary. But it is also sort of like that found footage sort of thing. So that's what you're probably seeing.
Kind of like the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, that's what you're seeing, that you're comparing it to like a VHS tape.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't have anything else to add here. I know Evil Dead Rise is coming out.
Yes, I will be watching that actually this Thursday, this Friday, this Thursday. I'll be watching it this week.
Okay.
That may or may not be what we talk about next episode.
Yeah, it may or may not be, but if you aren't doing anything, watch it because it really looks good.
Yes, it looks really good.
Really good. So let's see if the movie, holds up to that. And
if the early reactions or anything are any indication, everybody seems to like it so far. So I'm excited.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to give a shout out to the assholes. I'm just saying this. I'm going to say this. The assholes are the critics who went to go review the Super Mario's Bro movies.
Yeah.
It's such a I'm going to go ahead and address this. I know we are a
horror
podcast. We are a horror podcast. We try to give, horror content in our reviews and insight, all that stuff. But, once in a while, we like to address our nostalgia and our childhood and like whatever it may be. Super Mario Bros. Loved it growing up playing Nintendo. All the games, Nintendo 64, Nintendo, whatever. 55% critic rating. 96% audience rating. It has made over $600 million. Isn't that wild?
No, yeah.
I went to go watch it.
I did see it. I saw it with my nephew.
It was a really good movie.
I thought it was good. They
incorporated
I thought it was crazy to me that people were acting like it wasn't I don't know. I saw some crazy reviews. I saw some crazy
no
reviews.
way you can say it's a bad movie.
I saw some reviews saying
Chris Pratt's voice.
that it wasn't good for kids, and I was just like, what?
It was amazing for kids. It was
something about Bowser's obsession to Peach, of Peach. I was just like, really,
Peach
guys? Like,
no.
I love that song. It's so good.
I love it.
I want my girlfriend to watch the movie.
For two different generations, and it delivered, incorporated everything that we know about Mario and whatever. A lot of people complain about Chris Pratt's voice. I thought he did an amazing job.
Yeah, in the context of the movie, I didn't mind Chris Pratt's voice.
No, there's nothing to mind. It was really good, and the original, the voice actor for Mario was in the movie as Giuseppe for like 2 seconds, and nobody even noticed it. So like people just complain just to complain. I just want to go ahead and say to the people who gave it a 55%, I don't understand how they are critics. I don't know how they are selected or certified or whatever the case may be to go sit in an audience and as sit and participate as an audience to this movie and rate it that low. It's mind-boggling to me. Super Mario Bros. I hope it makes the most money possible. It's already surpassed the most money for an animation film and a video game film. So kudos to them. Keep striving. I can't wait for the second one.
While we're on the subject of Mario, I do want to say there's a good foundation here for making a scary Luigi's Mansion movie. Bam!
Hey, yes.
And we're a horror podcast, bro. Can I get a Luigi's Mansion movie? Did you play Luigi's Mansion? You didn't play Luigi's Mansion?
With the dead dog and the...
Oh my god, okay. I'm going to send you everything right now so you can play it right now. I will send you a GameCube.
Listen, I have an emulator. I'm playing everything.
I will send you a GameCube with an authentic controller. You don't understand how good Luigi's Mansion is. The very first Luigi's Mansion is amazing. Guys, if you want me to stream Luigi's Mansion and show Mr. Earth, please let me know. I will gladly fucking play Luigi's Mansion. I love Luigi's Mansion, and it's a legit. I'm not saying it's scary, but it's spooky in the sense of like, especially as a kid's game. And I think there's a lot of potential there, especially with the whole mansion scene with Luigi. I don't know, man. should do it.
Yeah.
Did you stay for after the credits though? Did you see Yoshi?
Yes, of course I stayed. Oh no, actually no. In the theater, no, I did not. Okay, I'm just gonna make it a thing to always stay now in this generation that we live in, this era that we live in. I'm gonna go ahead and just stay and watch all the end credit scenes. But because I literally saw Yoshi for like 2 seconds, I'm like, oh, that's it. That's all we're seeing about Yoshi.
In the background?
It wasn't really Yoshi, so I was like, oh, okay. And then I saw the end credit scene after the fact, people were talking about it. I'm like, I cannot believe I missed it.
I went with my nephew and I made him stay, just to make sure. And it was definitely worth it. I mean, it wasn't worth it, but I'm just happy there was a scene afterwards. But yeah, that's it from us, guys. Definitely follow us on all our social media platforms. Follow us on Twitter at That Terrific, Instagram, TikTok, at Well That Terrific. We also have a site, wellthatterrific.com. Definitely check that out. You can see all our podcast links at all the different platforms. Please review us on the podcast app, everywhere. Because if you don't...
Well, that's horrific.
Peace.